Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar, PSC E-Learning, called If Not Now, When?
This is a pre-recorded session, everyone, so we won't be able to take live questions. But if you do have a question after this segment, please feel free to phone PSC and we'll get an answer back to you as quickly as possible. So we're hoping you're having a wonderful day and getting ready for this wonderful holiday season. We like this topic. It's one that Steve asks all of us at PSC often in his subtle way. Right, honey?
That's right.
If we're not getting it done, when are we going to get it done? And of course, there's all the dreaded questions that happen when we're thinking about the future. Where are we going? Why are we going there? Who is going? When are we going? How are we going? And what are we going for? Now, these are questions that children ask all the time. I don't care if you're going to the supermarket. They ask these questions. But so do our employees. And they want to know, and they want to be sure that we have the answer. And they could ask us this every day, and we better be able to give the speech. Steve, touch on that, because I love when you talk on this topic of leadership.
Well, always remember that leadership involves influencing people. And if we're not influencing them to go along with us, they say that if you're leading people and there's no one following, you're just going for a walk. I love when John Maxwell says that. And it's so true. And so it's not just us as leaders. It's having the influence to be able to articulate where it is we're going as a team, why we're going there. You know, why is it important? Why is it important for us to do this as compared to anyone else? And why is it important for us to be doing it now versus at some point in the future? And once we've answered that, I mean, it's so important that people buy into the why it's us. Why not some other group? Why is this what we're working toward?
And, so let's put a topic to this and then answer the questions. For example, let's say that a leader has decided we are going to become a training salon. So the question is, Steve, where are we going? We are going to become a training salon, right?
Correct.
And we're going to add more talent. We're going to develop talent. We're going to recruit talent. But where we're going is we're going to move from the status quo to be known for developing talent and becoming a trained salon, right?
Yes, and by training salon, you just mean that we're growing our talent level of existing staff, and we're also growing our overall team number. That
yes.
That we have said that we're on a mission. We're on a mission to change the industry, to make the industry a better place, to make our own city, the salons in our city, a better place, just to raise the bar, realizing that a high tide raises all boats, but you know what? A low tide also sinks them. And so when you think about it, we're going there because it's what leadership is passionate about. That there's a limited number of people that can work in this company, and we want to make sure that the people who do work in this company are people that share our desires, that share our vision for moving forward. And we believe that training, whether it be technical training, whether it be dialogue training, whether it be improving guest handling skills, whether it be improving our social marketing, our personal marketing, whether it be the presence we have, involvement in our community, all of those things. We're not training on just one thing. It's not just about how to do a great, one-level haircut. It's not just about how to cover gray or how to be the best highlight salon. It's how to be the best at what we do, and that involves who we are, the footprint we have in our community. It involves the way we speak to our guests and escort them through the salon experience. And so when we hear this, we're a training salon, it says we realize that this isn't a destination. This isn't we're a trained salon. This is we're a training salon. And that means that we've got a destination, but we realize that we're always becoming. It's always about bringing the best version of our salon, the best version of our individual hairdressers and staff forward to the community and the marketplace.
Perfect. So those are the first two answers. Who's going, Steve?
Well, the people that have said yes to our dream and yes to our vision, and people who will join us, because if we're really accomplishing this, as we will accomplish it, we're going to attract other people who want to be part of it, We'll create that contagious enthusiasm.
Absolutely, and this is also saying that who's going? We're all going. For example, I love when Steve says at our house, everyone get in the car, the whole family's going. Who's going is everyone's going. Everyone's going to play a part in developing this talent mentality, developing talent mentality. No one is exempt from it. We're all in. We're all going. When are we going, Steve?
Now, get in the car.
Get in the car. So starting perhaps in January, we're going to have a whole different presence on how we're going to train, develop, and enhance our skills as we get this team where it needs to be. Maybe we're committed to starting off next year with very, very serious goals. Maybe we're in want 6 or 8 $100,000 hairdresser producers, or 100,000 hairdressers who produce that kind of dollar amount. Did I say that right? And where are we when are we going? We're starting this whole effort in January, and these are the things we have to put in place. How are we going? How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to partner with our distributorship. We're going to partner with the manufacturers that we represent, and we're going to have them bring their best education to help us, not only on the technical side, but on the service side. And then we're going to find our business coaches, like PSC, to come in and assist us as well. What are we going for?
And clearly, well, I was just going to say, it's anytime I hear our business coaches, and that includes your distributor, I think that sometimes there's a lot of people who present themselves as coaches. Some that certainly have earned the right as a coach and are worth following, and others sometimes that not so much. And I think the thing we have to realize when we're allowing, remember that process. You have to give someone permission to be your coach. And then once you have done that, their first job is to identify what it is that we need to learn. Where do we need to go? You know, what is it not only that we're good at now, but what is it that we need to improve upon? And I think that plays such a big role in getting there. If we're not looking at that, this isn't necessarily a pep club. This is, we're going to do something grand. We're going to do something amazing. Yeah, and unique. And so it takes that realization of, here's where we're at, here's what we need, and here's where we're going to wind up if we do it.
Good. And we're going for, because we said earlier, where are we going and the what are very similar. We're going for because we perhaps have flatlined out. Maybe we've got a little bit too comfortable. Maybe the energy isn't where it needs to be. People aren't loving what they're doing as much, and we have to bring back that energy to our business.
On a regular basis. Remember, that's part of leadership. Part of leadership is to not only have that fire, but to keep that fire going. And all of those that we lead, to be in a position where people want to join us. We're going somewhere exciting. Let's go.
So are we in good hands? Are we in good hands with the leadership? Because the leader must direct this process, must be the conductor, must have a plan for us, and must be able to take us to a place we haven't gotten to on our own. Now, are there times with staff turnover, or the profile of the salon changes, or we have some pushback from our people that we want to just throw our hands up or become silent as a leader, or even sometimes professionally pout as a leader? You know, we don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury to say, I'm not leading today, or I don't feel like it. They come to us saying, we know you've got a vision for us. Please help us get there. And just like a conductor saying, hey, I need to hear more from the string section, or come on, bass, give me a little bit more bass in here. I can't hear you. That's the same thing a leader has to be able to say to their team when they're trying to make a difference, especially when they're going after making a huge difference in the communities in which they're serving.
Well, and remember, just like with the conductor, sometimes it's a very energetic move that they make to bring about a specific result, and sometimes it's just the gentlest little movement of that baton that brings about such an incredibly rich sound. And the reason that I say that is that in leadership in our industry is we work side by side with people. And there really aren't, while there's hiding places sometimes for members of the team, there really aren't hiding places for leadership. Leadership is right there. It's right in your face, right up in front of everyone. And so are those subtle movements that we make, are they bringing about the right kind of richness in our sound? Do we mean it every step of the way? And I know that sometimes it's not even fair, but leaders aren't allowed to have off days. And I've had some. But,
well, and I think
nonetheless,
I think everyone on this call has. But here's the thing. I guess, when we get into heated conversations when we're coaching a salon, that's why I always worry when a salon's open 70 hours a week or 60 hours or 50, because it's beyond what the leader can conduct. And you're not open 70 hours a week to only look good 40 hours of those. And that's why I sometimes think, do we have everything in place to make sure our leadership and our staff are at peak performance? And that's why I say, when does our decision-making as a leader push our service beyond its means, push our reputation beyond its means, push our energy capabilities beyond their means? And that's hard. That's very, very difficult when you can't find that proper balance.
Terry, stay on that for a second, because on one hand, it's said that leaders help to take people a place they wouldn't get on their own. But yet on another hand, you say taking people beyond their means. That's a pretty fine balance, isn't it?
Well, I think so. I think that when you look at saying, what are you capable? This is a business of entertainment. And right now, for most of our listeners, most of the people that we're coaching right now, full-time represents 35 hours a week. Now, if that 35 hours is what you're committed to the salon, I expect you to be full out for 35 hours. Now, sometimes they'll say, Tuesdays is kind of dead in here and there's only 2 of us, and Wednesday night's kind of dead and we only have 1 person closing. What you're saying is that the energy is down those days. That's why when you put the right staff together, the right energy, the right mix together, it creates this momentum and noise that's really, really contagious. So if you're open 70 hours, you could be pushing your service beyond its means because there's not enough noise in the salon to give great service. Gosh, I hope I hit the mark on that. When you walk in, you want to hear and feel the energy of a successful business. Every business has a song that it's singing. It has this tempo when you're walking in. Is it powerful and alive, or is it flat and dead? And that's really something that leadership must control by putting all the components in place that make that possible. So, green light way of thinking. I don't know if we've ever done this exercise together in e-learning, but green light is if there weren't any constraints, if there were no constraints of any kind, what could we be doing right now in our business? Is where we're going, do we have a plan, or we're just doing the status quo? And then who do I need to put in this position? What can we do? What are the new things that we can do right now? For example, if I were to interview any of you one-on-one and said, think really big for your business, things you're not currently doing now or you wish you could do, many owners will say, I've got all these ideas. Okay, what are you doing about them? Oh, I just haven't gotten to them for the last 4 years. That's what green light way of thinking is. Get all of those ideas, even as ridiculous as they may sound, on paper, and don't make any excuses for them. No excuses. And say, if there were no excuses and no constraints, what could we be right now? And then you start creating your plan of attack off of that. So when it's time to then take the green light list, now we have to make it red light. What is something we can do right now? What are the things that we could accomplish in 2016 with these new ideas? So we take the timeline for 2016, and we start saying, okay, what people enhancements are we going to make this year? What service enhancements and what system enhancements? Based on our green light way of thinking, Where do those ideas all fall in? Is that a people enhancement? It could be a people, systems, and service. One idea could hit all three. And then you start saying, okay, how do we want to put these into play? How do we take these ideas that we always just dream about and never get done and make them a reality so we make our salon bigger and better in the eyes of our guests? That's really key. Now, if you think about red light way of thinking, sometimes you have to say, okay, a constraint could be, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my page, I forgot. So let's go back. I'm going to come back to red light way of thinking, but let's go to the next slide. Here's what's in the way a lot of times, and it's all the excuses. I'm reading a book right now. Actually, I just gave it to a salon owner, so I've got to go get another copy. But it's by Brian Tracy, and the book is called No Excuses. And if there's anything that I encourage you to read, it might even be our Christmas gift this year because it's that good. But what are the excuses that your big ideas don't get done? Now, here's some of the excuses. It could be lack of money. God knows we've been there as a company. Lack of time. Steve and I use that as an excuse all the time. Sometimes it's talent. We don't have the right talent, or we need new talent to complement the talent we have in place. Sometimes what's in the way is you don't have any ideas. You've lost your spark to create an idea. What's in the way could be the current structure you have in place, the things that you're currently doing that get in the way of you becoming a better version of yourself. What I mean by current structure is some of you don't take enough customers and haven't learned how to maximize the time of the hairdresser that they could be doing and power booking. You're just stuck in a rut right now. You're stuck because maybe you had turnover or something that really affected you, and you've lost your giddy up right now as an owner. You're tired, your people are tired, your salon is tired, you have nothing left. Steve, how many times have you and I said that to each other? There's times we look at each other and say, God, we're done. I'm done today. Nothing left in me. And then you got to dig way down again and say, okay, what does our team who's looking back in our eyes need from us? And you bring it back from the purpose of why you started this business. Some people are hiding. They're just hiding from their own business. Sometimes you say, where's your leader at? Well, she's not here. She's not here. Where are you hiding at? Come out of hiding and get back and run your business and have it be the one you want. And the negative thinking can certainly be in the way. If you think it's negative, it's negative. Let's show this clip that I think really is one of my favorites. And Brian's going to show it for us right now. I don't hear anything, Brian. Do you? It's in slow motion. Oh, you're only hearing my voice. I've seen this clip so many times I probably could do it.
I know I could.
Yes, but the video is showing up in slow motion and okay. So it won't for the recording, so just listen. Okay, so here's what I want you to get from that. When he's talking about that we used to be an upstart program, the best in the West. No one even came close to us. And overnight, we got sloppy. We got, in my words, casual. We got comfortable. And people not wanting to do a surgery unless it's brain or heart. Like doing knee surgery is a no-brainer. Give that to somebody else. Some of those things happen in salons where people say, I don't want that walk-in, or I don't want to do just a trim. And they wouldn't have done that when we first opened. But now that they decide what customers they want to take and what they don't want to take. You know, I think about what happens is, and I'm giving you a couple slides here that would be a great staff meeting. When someone purchases a new car, and I love this because they get a new car and it smells good and they have such pride, and you sit up straight. You're almost a better driver when you get a new car, and you're careful where you park in a parking lot because you want to protect the car, and you study the new features and you read the manual and you're looking for all the good things, and you tell everyone, I got a new car, you want to come see my car? You go to a friend's house, pull in the driveway, beep, beep, look at me, I've got a new car. You argue with people why this car is better than the others because of the gas mileage or the four-wheel drive and the GPS, and you did your research, and this car is the best and the value, and oh my goodness. You post it on social media, and you want to drive everywhere. Who's driving? I'll drive. And you smile and wave at everyone going down the street because you're in a new car. You're not going to smoke in there. You're not going to eat in there. And you even name your car. Car's got a name. And you can't wait to get in the car. You even look at it a couple times when you're walking in the house. You got to look back at your car. All right? Now we're going to get the car that got tired. Tired car. And now if you think about a tired car, it's dirty, stinky, there's trash in the car, there's rust, chip paint, old shoes in there, lost items you forgot you even had are in the car, there's laundry piles, you get dressed in the car, your dress code's in there, you don't care where you park, you don't want anyone to ride with you, you're always apologizing for the look of the car, and the car is given a name, but it's a different name now. Okay, can't this same thing happen in businesses where we are a new salon and we open, and then we become a tired salon and no one even caught it. It just becomes tired almost overnight, where you don't love it anymore, you don't honor it anymore, you don't protect it anymore, you don't even dream about what the car or the salon can be anymore to you. In fact, some people think, well, if I just get a new car, that'll take care of the problem. But really it's about bringing back what got comfortable and make it on purpose again. And that's not easy to do. You know, I think the greatest compliment you can get is when someone say, how long have you been in this building? A year? No, 4 years. 4 years. Oh my gosh, you guys still look like it's brand new. That's why you want them to feel when they walk into your business about your service, about your people, about your offerings, your selection, your attention to detail, your sanitation. You want them to think of all of that when they walk in your business. Now, here's the next thing. How do you protect this? How do you protect a business from getting tired? How do you protect you from getting tired in your own business? And the biggest thing I can tell you is it's a choice. It's a choice that you're going to dig in, that you're going to call time out if necessary to regroup this team and say, hey, this is where we're going. This is where I need you at. And for the owners on the phone call, if your business got tired, it's because you let it get tired. You might have been hurt by other people, but you allowed them to hurt your business. And calling time out to say, okay, this is what we need to do, this is how we need to create and protect this, and bring them together and state what you want from this business again. When you open day one, let's go group, you were at 100%. Be honest with yourself, where are you today? And they need you to be at 100, and if you're at 70, we've left room for this business to get tired. You need to play hard every day, not dirty, but you need to play hard. And you ask them, when they're there, play hard. And when you leave here, go home and relax and enjoy life. But when you're here, I need you full out. And how do you protect this? Is by the character that you want and reputation you want your business to have is how you behave and how you carry yourself on a daily basis. Steve, why don't you add to this?
Well, excuse me, I'm trying to think, Terry, and I was going to ask you about, and give me an example of how as a leader you would call timeout in business, because I know you said that many times when we've watched sports together, and it's so obvious when we're watching sports that they need to call timeout, and some coaches miss that. How do we miss it? When are times that we miss it in the salon business?
Okay, first of all, when the back room isn't making any money for us, that we've got people out in the front that are having a hard time, and the people in the back, no one went back to get them, no one in the back is even checking on, there is no team respect happening. There is no way that the people sitting on the bench at a basketball game would go back into the locker room while the 5 players are busting their tail out on the court right now. Does that happen in salons every single day? Absolutely does. Get in there and root your team on. Number 2, how I'd call timeout is if the place started looking a mess. Number 3, if I heard conversations that weren't positive or I heard negative conversations. If the phones became more important than what we were trying to accomplish in our salon, I'd have to call timeout and put a new rule in place. If we weren't practicing hard enough to get better, I'd have to call timeout. When we aren't hitting our dollar per guest average ticket that this salon is known for, I'd have to call timeout. If we're not moving any take-home, I'd have to call timeout. If we're not rescheduling any guests. Success leaves clues. Yes. Am I going too fast?
Those are times when you'd call timeout. How would you do it?
I'd call right now. I'd say, everyone, get in the back. We need a quick huddle. Let's go. I would pull the team together. Right during the business day, I'd say, give me 60 seconds. That's what they get in a basketball game, 60 seconds. And they've got their boards out and their clipboards and everything else. I'd take that 1 minute and say, everyone get back here. Bring it up a notch. What's going on with us right now? You get here, you get here, you get here. Come on, bring the best out. Yes, I would. Absolutely, I would. Because everyone's watching us, right? And it's a character issue. Okay, next slide. So, what are excuses right now? You can't have excuses. There is none. Team contribution, if you don't have team contribution, you have to address it. Good energy gives energy. You're looking for that energy. I mean, when someone else is walking next to you and they're singing, all of a sudden you're walking better too. What is the balance that this business needs? 100% focus. These are all no excuse mentality, no drama. This is a safe place. What we can become. Effort, positive thinking, what is our giddy up? These are all things that would say we are no excuse team in here. Now, if you've got other traits besides these, then you might be an excuses salon versus a no excuses zone. And you have to say, what is our conversation? Are we excuse-based or we're no excuse-based? And that's something we work on all the time. Right? It's good to have a realist. I mean, we've got some realists on staff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we can't
Terry, I think of the line that I learned a long time ago from an early mentor of mine, Zig Ziglar, where he said that positive thinking won't let you do everything, won't let you do anything, but positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. And I think that is so much the challenge that we have. People left to their own devices. You said early on, Terry, when we met, that when you allow people to come to their own conclusions, 9 times out of 10 it's negative.
Oh my God, it's even worse now.
So much of the time, yeah, in a negative environment. There's so many different ways to get negative news, to get negative input. Right now in the election, you know, even before it's over, while the debates are going on, you've got newscasts, you've got people are tweeting, people are putting on Facebook, they're putting on Instagram.
Yeah, positive doesn't sell.
Yeah, and so they're telling us how to think, and they're telling us how to think negative. And so as a business, how do we champion the cause of positive? Think of the people that you admire, and think of how much positive comes out of them. I think of Robert Cromeans. Robert Cromeans doesn't get on stage and tell you what you can't do. He tells you what you can do and how to do it, and how to stay focused and how to stay motivated. The same thing, whether it be whether it be Vivian McKinder, she tells you what you can do. Stephanie Kachowski tells you what you can do. All of those great hairdressers, they have a contagious thing about them because they're positive, because they have a...
Who's my favorite leader right now that I listen to every day?
Joel Osteen.
I know, every day. I have to have a little bit of Joel Osteen. I probably have an hour and a half of him every day between my drives. And I get in the car going, absolutely. Steve calls me, all right, Mrs. Osteen. And my God, what's the alternative? Right? What you can become. What you can become. What effort, what is my positive thinking going to create for me and PSC? Is it easy? No, I'm a realist too sometimes, because I have to look at it from the guest standpoint. Everyone has a set of eyes that they look from. A technical person's going to look through technical eyes. We're doing a new project here, and Brian's in here producing this for us. And Brian will look at an event like, well, Terry here, and technically, and they can sit here and they can look up, and I'll say, Brian, I don't care about it technically. I care about it from the guest eyes. And I've got to have his input, but the bottom line is the hairdresser going to be able to enjoy our education if we put this in place like this. It's all about the guest to me. Now, Brian's going to start somewhere else. Sarah's going to start with inventory. Lou's going to start operationally. And it's so funny when we come together, we all have the best intentions. We're just going to protect the things that we're responsible for. That's what happens that sometimes can become excuses if we're not careful. If we're not careful, our opinion can become an excuse. And that's something
Terry,
that happens in salons.
I had a conversation in California a couple of weeks ago with a dear friend, someone that I just I love so much, and who he is and what he's about, and he makes me laugh all the time. And he came up and in his own way he said, Steve, you're in a family business. You're around family all the time, and you know what it's like, and what it's like to have ideas and have somebody shoot them down, and went on and on and on. And he said, sometimes I just feel like they take my fire away. And he said, I know you've probably been there because you work with family. Can you just give me some input? And I have no idea. As he was saying everything, I had no idea what I was going to say, and then I just had to. Well, I just said, yeah, Terry's done that. Yeah, Terry's done that.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But the reality of it is, I looked at him and I said, you know what? The scariest thing you said is that they're putting out your fire. I said, don't ever say that to me again. You're responsible for your own fire. Mm-hmm. It's always been that way, and it never will be any different. Others can't take your fire away. And you know what? I mean, thank God they were the words that he needed to hear. But we are all responsible, regardless of what happens. And we all have. Life goes on in businesses. Life goes on no matter where you are.
Yeah, we all have stuff.
The fact of the matter is that we're responsible for the passion in our belly. We're responsible for that fire that gets us out of bed, that got you in business, that got you hiring people and saying, come along with me. And no one can take that from you without your permission. And I just had a situation today that I want to share too. And that's I've sat down. I'm in one of our schools, and I sat down with a perspective during the financial aid part of the meeting, which is the serious part. It's where you realize how much money it's going to cost and all of this kind of stuff. And there were things that were said that just touched my heart in so many different ways that I can't even tell you. But the the gist of it was, here was a person sitting in front of me that's a foreigner, so they have no availability to federal loans or federal funds, no grant money, no loan money. that's saying, I come from a large family, and when I graduate from this school, I will be the first person, including cousins, to go beyond high school.
Mm.
And I'm seeing this spark in her eyes, and she said, I was so excited to get here today and so nervous. She said, when I was coming down the escalator, I felt that thing in my stomach, and it kind of took my breath away. And
oh, I've had that thing. Haven't you, Steve?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it gave that thing back to me at that moment. And you know, it's sometimes we take for granted the role that we play and what we get to do with our careers. We get to do things that other people could only dream about. You started a business, you employ people. You're the completion of a dream for people sometimes. You're the person that helps your community to feel better about itself because they have the added confidence that comes from looking and feeling their best. And when we think about this, no excuses, and when we think about if not now, when, it's so critical because you can choose to say, oh, not now, we'll get to it. Well, you know what? There was a time in my life where I thought I had all the time in the world to be successful, all the time in the world to change this industry, all the time in the world to do this, that, and the next thing. And the reality is that we don't have all the time in the world. We have the time right now, and we have the time to sort out the things that we're most passionate about, and then work every single day. To encourage this young lady to do was make progress daily. Do something. Do something every single day that moves you closer to your dream, closer to your goal, and allow that to create momentum for you. And so I would say that here as well. You know, do something every single day, every day. Find out. Look and say, what does my business need? Where do I need to be? Where do I need to show up? Who needs a conversation from me? Who needs to be sent sailing with some positive feedback? And go do that. Do that right now to somebody, for somebody. Call them and tell them I saw your work on Saturday and it was outstanding. And you'll see that you start to create this positive momentum for yourself as a leader, for your business in general, and you'll start to replace those excuses with actions.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. Okay, so next slide. So what are our power plays? What are your salon's power plays that will make a difference, and we plan the difference? So what are the power plays that we're looking for? Now, when I think about a power play, it's scheduling, teaming up. What are our power plays for 2016? How are we going to respond to what the business needs? How are we going to make a difference and plan the difference that this salon needs to be in the future? Now, once again, you go back to your green light and your red light way of thinking. Brian, can you go back to those two? If we go back to green light, we answer those questions and think about no constraints, just dreaming big, and we go back to red light way of thinking and we say, okay, what are these enhancements? And one of the enhancements could be in 2016 that we as a team are going to master this software package that we have in the salon that we only use 10% of. It might be something that we go after and say, what in here are we not using that could make us as service providers stronger, make us as system efficiencies stronger that helps the customer enjoy our business, and we're using other things that will enhance their relationship with us. And then what in the software will even enhance our service opportunities. Just that one idea of saying how are we going to tackle connecting with this software package could make a big difference in your business. But you've got a plan for it. Do we put a committee on it? Do we put a team of people on it that say, okay, what are we not doing here, which the list is going to be long at first, and how do we put these things in place? I mean, when you're coaching people on Millennium, Steve, I mean, how much are people still not using of that software?
The majority. The majority of it. They're using it as a glorified cash register, and even less as a it's supposed to be your database for your customer base, and if your setups aren't right.
Too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's amazing things that it's capable of, but they're not currently configured in a way that they can take advantage of it.
That scares me. Because that's not changing. It's been the same way for the last 10 years. We're not making progress in this category. We're still spending the money on this category, but we're not making progress in this category. So what do we do about it? How do we change that? And that is a choice that we have to make, and make time for it in the new year. But most hairdressers, because they don't like this side of the business, when they get nervous, they'll just do more hair. They'll throw more customers at a problem versus figure out how to become the expert in a category.
Mm-hmm.
So what are our power plays for 2016? Let's brainstorm this a little bit during our close. Can we go back to that, Brian? So when we think about power plays, what's going to make the biggest differences for you? And you could say, gosh, you know, some of it is people just don't want to work anymore. I mean, they're so, as soon as they don't have a guest, they want to leave the salon. They want to get out of there. Well, plan the difference. Make a difference, plan the difference. That, once again, if they don't see their whole team working because the hours are so wide that they don't see everyone's commitment, they think, if I leave, what's the big deal? It's amazing what a full staff, if you want to step out on a full staff, you almost feel guilty. You don't feel guilty stepping out on a partial staff, and I don't know why that is, but it's true. So if you've got 8 people that are all working together, and they're all, let's say they're all working the same 40 hours or 35 hours a week, and you want to leave and you think you're going to miss something, you almost feel guilty leaving. But if you're open 70 hours a week and I never even see some of my other teammates, I don't feel guilty not being there because I don't see the other ones anyway. Does that make sense, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make a difference and plan the difference? Look at your power plays to look bigger and broader than you are right now. And we're going to be doing another recording today that's going to be one for your review about making noise. And I think it'll tag into this beautifully because we've got right now to make the difference. You're getting ready to go into the holidays. And this is recorded for, I believe, November of 2015. So you're going to be hitting the power traffic in November and December. What are you doing different besides just seeing more guests? What are you doing different to make a difference and plan the difference? Are we talking about rescheduling? Are we going to do and have a focus on rescheduling for January and February? Are we going to talk about service marketing where if you receive this service, you could also receive this one? What are the things that we're going to do to create power plays because we're going to have a lot of traffic in front of us? And this is the best time for us to create future traffic too.
You know, Terry, I'm glad you brought that up because so much of the time, when I'm in a salon during this time of year, many times staff will say, it's so busy, I don't have time to recommend take-home, upsell the menu, or set up a future reservation. And I just think, oh my God, could you imagine how it sounds to say, I don't have time, I'm so busy, there's so many people here, I don't have time to do good business with them. Well, sure you do. That's the time to make it. You will establish what kind of a January and February you will have in the months of November and December. And so if your staff is equipped with the knowledge that they need, the dialogue that they need during November and December, their January, February is going to be brilliant. If they're not, then we're going to have missed an opportunity to really start off 2016 in the right fashion. So again, no excuses. So one of the questions that I would ask probably is how can we be better prepared for the holiday season in every way, dialogue and promoting the business, and enjoy the process. How can we do that? What do I need to do right now? What do we need to be talking about daily? What little bites of information do we need to be putting out there? What do I need to be inspecting? You know, and I think the inspection comes in as to how do we do on those things? Are we setting up future reservations? Are we upselling the menu? And where is our take-home? Take-home should skyrocket right now because not only do you have their own personal purchases, but you also have holiday gift purchases that are made in the salons, as well as gift certificates for future, for people to give away. And so with all of those things going on, this is the time. This is the time to take full advantage of this. Let this season, let holiday season be 2015 be one of your power plays that sets up your entire 2016 year.
I like it. Well, Steve, I think we're done on this one. And we're going to record another one. So we wish you well. Make a difference. No excuses. And let's get, if not now, when? And is that what the title was? I'm starting to lose my mind. If not now, when? The time is now. And your people need you to be working on it right now.
Absolutely. Enjoy this season coming up and do something today that helps you to have the future that you want to live in.
Thank you.